grocery store of ours in Michigan. So we're driving by Meijer, and we're stopped by Meijer. Now, it was under construction, I knew that, because there were the trucks out there, the guys wearing the hard hats, I knew what was going on. My mom had to take it a whole different level. She looks at Meijer, looks at me and goes, Anthony, look, Meijer's is getting a facelift. Excuse me? No, Meijer's is getting a facelift. So I looked at my mom, looked at Meijer's, looked at my mom again, looked one more time at Meijer's, and I said to my mom, Mom, you're nuts. There's no eyes, ears, nose, facial hair, there's no chin on Meijer's. Like, what the heck are you talking about? And she said to me, oh, well, Anthony, getting a facelift means you're getting rebranded. You're getting a new look. I looked at her again, I said, well, you could have just said that instead of all that scientific mumbo-jumbo, Mom. I mean, come on now. But little stuff like that I really struggle with. And my speech therapist for almost 14 years, 16 years, whatever it was, helped me out. I had teachers who would just go out in the hallway with me for 5 minutes to help calm me down because they knew it would help. My teachers had plans, and they stuck to those plans. I had an IEP meeting every 2 years. I know it's every year now, but through kindergarten up till 6th grade, I never went to an IEP meeting. When I was in 6th grade, I went to my first IEP meeting, and everybody was crying. I said to myself, all right, everybody's crying, that means I'm doing good. But I asked my resource room teacher, because I had resource room from 6th grade till I graduated high school. And it wasn't just me, there were different kids in there with different learning disabilities. And so I asked my teacher, what was that meeting about? Well, it was about you. Well, I knew that, but what was it about? She said, well, it was about your strengths and weaknesses. What you think you've done really well at this year, and what we think you can work on. I'm like, all right, well, explain more. So 7th grade, I asked her, what were my weaknesses? What did I do well at? 8th grade IEP, I didn't sit there and look at people cry. I listened to what my weaknesses were, what my strengths were, because my principal encouraged me to do that. My resource teacher encouraged me to do that. My speech therapist encouraged me to do that. Sophomore year of high school, same thing, all business. Senior year IEP, what do I have to do to be successful in college? And my high school teachers sacrificed all that. I had high school teachers, folks, that were coaches. And they sacrificed a lot of practice time to help me learn, help me study. Most of the time, they didn't go to practice because they actually told their coaches that helping me become a better student was way more important than running their own team. That's how much my teachers cared. That's how much they want to be a part of something special. They were, and they still are to this day. I had test accommodations throughout middle school and high school and college. And those test accommodations were this: extended time on my tests, a reader, take my test in a separate room, because if I took a test in here right now with everybody, I could not keep focus. I wouldn't be able to. So having me in my own little separate environment, in my own little room, with my reader for my test, I did better because I could keep focus. And if it was a math test, I was allowed to have a calculator. But because of what Oklamas High School did for me, because of what Grand Valley State University's Learning Disability Center did for me, because of what Michigan State, RCPD, the Resource Center for Persons with Disabilities, because of what those places did for me, I was able to get my college degree. Because of what my teachers taught me, they helped me transition from grade to grade as easy as possible because they stuck to the plan. And if they needed to add more to the plan, they asked me, you want me to add this? Yes, please. If it helps me, let's do it. But I am indebted, ladies and gentlemen, to all my teachers. I've had about 40, 50 some teachers my entire life, and I'm indebted to each and every single one of them. And I actually went and visited my American literature teacher in high school last week, and I told her that. She said, you don't owe me a thing. I said, yeah, I do. Because of you, I am who I am today. My history teacher in 7th grade, I went and visited him the same day last week. And he and I had known each other since, for a long time. Because he actually started out as a gym teacher, substituting for my gym class. And I had a wig out moment because I lost in a game of volleyball. Game of volleyball, that just tells you how much I hated to lose as a kid in gym class in volleyball. But he calmed me down, pulled me off to the side. 6 months later, he's my history teacher in 7th grade. And our relationship continues to this day. And when I went and saw him last week, I knocked on his door, I walked in his room, he put a smile on his face, and they said to me, what are you doing here? Go home. I have nothing left to teach you. Nothing left. You're not a student of mine. I kicked you out the door 17, 15 years ago. Get out of here. I looked at him and I laughed because I knew he was joking. I knew right then and there. But then I looked at him and I said, you know what, you're not done teaching me. Because like you, I deal with students every day. I deal with teachers every day and parents. I want you to keep teaching me all that so I can be a better speaker, be a better person. You're still teaching me that. He and I are literally like Corey Matthews and Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. That's the kind of relationship that he and I will always have, and not just with him, but with all my teachers. I'm going to throw my teachers the biggest party that this century will ever see because of how much they sacrificed for me, because of how much I love them. And my teachers built my foundation, that is Anthony Ianni, and they helped me transition in the easiest way possible for me to be successful, because they knew that they had something special in front of them, and they believed in me from day one, despite what people said about me. Now, it's not just family and teachers, folks, that I brag about all the time, that helped me get to where I'm at today. The last one is coaches. Now, a lot of people like to ask me this question. Not how tall are you, or you must have been a basketball player, which I like to joke with people I played on the soccer team. That gets people sometimes. But the other question I get asked is, Mr. Ianni, what's he like? Well, who are you talking about? What's he like? Well, I need you to help me out here. Who are you referring to as he? Well, Tom Izzo. Oh, well, you could have just said Coach Izzo, Coach. I mean, every time I tell Coach Izzo this story, he laughs about it and says, people need to forget that I'm a god. I'm not the president, I'm not the governor. I'm just a coach. But that's Coach Izzo for you. He does not think very highly of himself. Coach Izzo, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Izzo is without question the most intense man I've ever been around my entire life. I don't know how many of you have seen Michigan State play on TV in the past, but all the screaming and yelling he does, he's broken about 10 clipboards over his knee. He probably broke at least 10 when I was at Michigan State, so it's still probably a record for my graduating class. But he wants his teams to be perfect. That's why he's in the Hall of Fame. That's why he's been to so many Final Fours, why he's won so many Big Ten championships, because he wants his players and his team to be perfect. That's why he's pushed us every day in practice. That's Tom Izzo, the coach. Tom Izzo, the person, is without a doubt one of the greatest individuals that I know in my life. Tom Izzo cares so much about everybody. That's why I say he doesn't care, he doesn't think highly of himself. He puts Michigan State University before him. He puts everybody in the athletics department before him. People he's never even met. He puts guys who have played at Michigan State from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I mean, Lucinda's brother Scott didn't play for Coach Izzo, but he was an assistant, but he knew everything about him. So we have 2 reunions every year. We get guys from the 50s coming back every year because Coach Izzo established that family atmosphere. And he wants his players that graduated under him to be successful in every way possible and make an impact in their communities. He's told guys that go to the NBA early, look, you're good enough to go, but you got to promise me one thing. You're going to get your degree, because one way or another, the NBA will not always be there. The money will not always be there, but your degree will last a lifetime. Tom Izzo saves lives too. He saved mine. I don't tell this story a whole lot. The only time I tell it is when I'm at conferences or I'm speaking to student athletes at universities. So you get the privilege of hearing this one. October 19, 2010, started my second year at Michigan State, my redshirt junior year. I was in study table after practice working on a paper, and I print my paper off, log off my computer, I'm about to go back to my apartment. I got a phone call from my father. Dad, what's going on? Son, you need to go home tonight. I said, why? What's going on? Like, I'm at your grandma's right now, you just need to go home. And my parents live like 10 minutes from campus. So I'm like, all right, I'll see you at home. So I get in my car and I drive home. And I kept thinking to myself, okay, somebody in the family passed away. And immediately I thought my grandmother, because my dad said he was at my grandmother's house. So I'm preparing myself, all right, grandma died, just prepare yourself. I got home, waited about 20, 25 minutes for my mom. And when my mom walked through that door, I was not expecting to hear these words come out of her mouth. It was the last thing that was on my mind. I said, Mom, what's going on? She said, you might want to sit down for this. I said, I don't want to sit down. Just sit down for 20 minutes. I need you to tell me what's going on. Nobody in the family's answering my calls, answering my texts, like, I need you to help me out. She said, all right, Anthony, your uncle, who was also my godparent. She said, Anthony, your uncle was shot and killed at his front doorstep today. He was murdered. I fell to the floor, and I broke down in tears. I lost it. I wasn't even home for 5 minutes. Got my car, drove around the entire city of East Lansing, Michigan for over an hour and a half. I took main roads, I took side roads, back roads, and all I kept doing that entire hour and a half was screaming and yelling in my car. All I kept saying was, who would do this to us? Who would do this to me? Who would take an innocent life away from us? An innocent life who's done nothing but good in life, who's been nothing but great and kind to others. Who would do this to me and my family? You know what? I dare that gunman to come to my front doorstep tonight and point that gun at me. I'm not scared of this person. I hope he does come to my doorstep so I can show him up. Throughout my life, folks, I've always had priorities. After my uncle died, or before my uncle died, these were my priorities in life. Faith, because I'm a very Catholic man, God always comes number one for everything. Faith, family, school, basketball. Because there's a reason why you're called student athlete, because student comes before athlete. After my uncle died, faith, family, basketball, then school. Because I treated my teammates and my coaches just like family. I had the worst year ever academically in my entire life. I don't know how many classes I failed. I don't know how many classes I skipped out on. Because physically, Anthony Ianni was there. Mentally, I was checked out. I didn't care anymore. Worst year ever academically, worst year ever in basketball, barely made the tournament, went 19-15. One of the worst teams under Coach Izzo. So, May 1st, 2011, we had a team meeting the night before finals. Now, how do I remember this day in particular? Well, it's easy, because this is the same day that our troops went over and killed Osama bin Laden. This is the same day all this happened. So we had a team meeting. Coach walks in, he's firing guys up about finals, telling us to finish strong, and he called guys out about their grades. Now, he wasn't calling them out to be mean about it, he was just calling guys out to fire them up. He wants us to finish finals strong. He got to me, called me out, I chewed him out. I got up out of my chair, stood up, pointed my finger at him, and I cussed out my own coach. I swore at him, I was yelling, and Draymond Green, who plays for the Warriors, was my teammate. He looked at me and said, "Dude, what are you doing? You want to be on this team? You want to walk out of here alive tonight? Like, seriously, do you want to be on this team? Like, what are you doing?" After I sat down, Coach Izzo gave me the evilest glare I've ever seen a person give me in my entire life. He looked at me and said, "First of all, don't you ever talk to me like that again, ever. Second of all, you and me in my office right after this." Went into his office, sat in a chair in front of his desk. He walked in, shut the door, walked right in front of me, sat in his desk chair, and I immediately broke down in tears. I've never broke down like this in front of a coach. The only time I had is after a big loss in the game, but as far as my personal life goes, I've never done this before with a coach. I started breaking down crying. I said, "Coach, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't. Like, ever since my uncle died, ever since he was taken from me and my family, I feel like my life's been spiraling out of control. Like, physically, I'm here. Mentally, I'm gone. I don't know what to do. I'm so screwed up right now. I don't know who to go to. I don't want to go to my family. I don't want to go to my teachers in Oakland. I don't want to do any of that stuff. Like, I need help." He got up out of his chair, pulled his chair over next to me, sat down, put his arm around me, pulled me in and said, "Anthony, I know what you have to do. You know what you have to do. I know what was said about you when you were 5 years old. I know what those doctors and therapists said to you and your mom and your dad. I know what's said about you. Heck, even today, I know how many doubters and haters you have in life. So I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if you stay on this path you're on right now. If you stay on this path you're on, you won't last in Michigan State. You won't even be here for summer classes. You'll be gone. And then when you walk the streets in the fall, or next year for a football game, and one of your doubters and haters sees you in the street, they're going to scream out and say to everybody, 'Hey guys, look, there goes Anthony Ianni. We were right about him. What a loser. Couldn't hack it.' That's where you're headed. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to walk out of my office tonight with a mindset you haven't had in a long, long time. Anthony, I want you to be hungrier for success than you've ever been in your entire life, and ever in your entire life. And then tomorrow, I want you to finish your finals as best you can. Come back in a week. We'll start workouts. We'll start summer classes. Because I need you, Draymond, and Austin Thornton, and Brandon Wood to help us bring our program back to the way it is. I need you to help us win championships. I need you to help us get to a Final Four. I want you to put us back on the map. By the way, I looked at the graduation date already. It's May 5th, 2012. Right here at the Breslin Center. The day you walk across that stage, you know what's going to be waiting for you at the end of that stage? To give you a hug, shake your hand, and hug you again and say, "I'm so proud of you." It's going to be me. But I can't do it. You got to do it. I walked out of his office with a mindset I haven't had probably since I was in high school. I was hungrier for success than I've ever been in my entire life. I had the greatest year ever academically, not just in Michigan State, but probably since I was in high school. Basketball, won the Big Ten championship, won the Big Ten tournament title, lost to a Louisville team in the Sweet 16 that went to the Final Four, but me and my senior class, we helped put Michigan State back on the map where it belongs. May 5th, 2012 arrived, my graduation day. Got up, looked at the Breslin Center, looked around, looked at the banners, the championship banners. Our championship banner was up there. I was like, man, I'm proud to be here today. Walked up the stage. They called my name, shook hands with everybody, got my diploma. Well, it really wasn't a diploma. When you open it up, it said, your real diploma will be mailed to you on this date and this time and this address. So I was like, man, here it is. No. But Michigan, I'll give Michigan State credit. They had like an official seal on it. It was like really professional, so I'll give credit for that. But I walked out to the end of the stage, and there was somebody about 20 steps beyond the stage. Walked down the steps, and I walked over to this person. Shook my hand, gave me the biggest bear hug ever, and said to me, I'm so proud of you. Who was it? It was Tom Izzo. He kept his promise. I've always told people, there's the Coach Krzyzewskis of the world. There's the John Calipari's of the world. There's the Bill Selfs of the world. There's the Shaka Smarts of the world. You know, there's all those great guys. But you know, there's only one Tom Izzo. And not only did Tom Izzo saved my life, but Tom Izzo is without question not only a true Hall of Famer, but not only a true great basketball coach, maybe one of the greatest in the country, maybe the world. But Tom Izzo is without question one of the greatest individuals that I know in my life. So motivation, hard work, and support are the three keys for not only success in life, but they are the three keys for making sure a successful transition throughout high school and college will work. On a final note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get my motivational speaking on now. All the sappy stuff is over now. But the point today, ladies and gentlemen, is very simple. You cannot give up on anything or anybody in your entire life. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, there's only one person in all of our lives stopping us from doing what we love to do in life. What dreams we want to dream and achieve, what goals we want to achieve today, tomorrow, and more importantly, who do we want to be as a person? There's only one person in our entire lives stopping us from doing all that stuff, and that is us. Because we control our own lives, ladies and gentlemen. We control our own destiny in life. We literally get to walk around in our life cars every day, and we literally have the keys to those life cars every day. Because nobody else owns those two things in our life but us. Let me tell you two reasons why. People like myself, people like Coach Izzo, LeBron James, firemen, police officers, lawyers, judges, whoever. Why individuals like that, even teachers, get to wake up every day and do what they love to do. For two reasons. Number one is because of inspiration. Because there is something out there in our lives, ladies and gentlemen, that inspires us all to wake up every day, do what we love to do, for that inspiration, but be even better as a person for that inspiration. Now me, I have two inspirations in my life. Number one, I already mentioned him earlier, my son. My son inspires me every day to wake up at 5, 6 in the morning. Not because he's up during that time, he's actually sleeping during that time, believe it or not. My son inspires me to wake up during those hours in the morning, to hop in my car, go all over the state of Michigan, or go all over the country, or hop on a plane, go to the airport, get on a plane, go all over the country, and inspire as many people as I can. My son inspires me to be the best speaker that I can be. And not only does my son do that, my son inspires me to be the best person I can be in life, and more importantly, he inspires me to be the best father I can be every day for him. That's my first inspiration. My second inspiration are the students, the teachers I speak to, the student athletes. Those kids and those teachers every day inspire me to do what I love to do. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, you're a motivational speaker. What are your goals? Well, simple. I have three. I want to be the best. I want to be the best in the state of Michigan. Personally, I think I've established that already. Number two, I want to be the best in the country one day. I got a lot of work to do before I'm able to put myself in that category. But you know what? I'm willing to do all that. I'm willing to make the sacrifices that it takes to be the best. And you know what? I want to be the best in the world one day. I have a lot of work to do before I can say I'm in that category. But you know what? I'm willing to do all that. Because I have great parents, I have great teachers, I have a great support system that'll help me achieve all those things I want to achieve in my life. But you know what? The students inspire me to do all that. The teachers around the country inspire me to do that. And the student athletes I get the honor and privilege to meet, they inspire me to do that too. Those are my inspirations in life. What inspires you every day? What inspires everybody in this room to wake up every day, do what they love to do for that inspiration, but be even better as a person for that inspiration? Because we all have something in our lives, ladies and gentlemen, that inspires us all to do just that. The second reason why people do what they love to do every day, because of hope. Because people believe in hope, and more importantly, they believe in themselves. And I'm going to tell you something right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't believe in yourself in life, I guarantee that nobody else will. Because at a younger age, I had a tough time believing in myself. Because I cared about so much what other people thought about me. The way I walked, dressed, how I did in school, how I did in basketball. I cared about so much what other people around me thought about me. But my best friend, who works for Pepsi in Chicago now, a Pepsi distributor, he's one of those individuals, folks. He doesn't care what people say or think about him. He doesn't. Because he worries about his own thoughts and opinions. And he also has a learning disability too. He does. You know what? I'm proud to say, not only is he my best friend, but he's like my brother to me too. So one day, freshman year of high school, we're walking in the hallways, and I was whining and crying to him and complaining about what other people were saying and thinking about me. Here's what he did. Stuck his hand out like this, grabbed the collar of my shirt, tossed me up against the locker. He came at me again. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to kill me right here, right now. I didn't even do anything to you. Like, seriously, what? And he looked at me again and says, look at me in my eyes. You're going to hear this once from me and only once. Forget about what others say or think about you. Forget about what the world says or thinks about you. Because at the end of the day, Anthony, only one person's thoughts and opinions in your entire life matter the most. And it's not theirs, man. It's yours. Your thoughts and opinions in your life matter the most. Yours and only yours. Because it's not our friends, it's not our classmates, it's not the teachers, it's not the medias, it's not the world's. It's your thoughts and opinions that matter the most. And you know what? That's why I was afraid to fail early on in my life. But I'm going to teach you all something my father taught me. You cannot be afraid to fail in life. Because if you are afraid of failing in life, that fear of failing in life will eat at you each and every single day. And I promise to guarantee you that you will all be brought down for the rest of your life. Do what you love to do every day in life, ladies and gentlemen, for two reasons. Number one, because you believe in yourself. And number two, because you are not afraid to fail at what you do in life. And if you do those two things throughout your life, believing in yourself and not being afraid to fail, it teaches you to do one thing. It teaches you to be confident. It will also teach you to build self-confidence as well. So the more and more you all wake up every day and you believe in yourself, and the more and more you all wake up every day and you are not afraid to fail at the task that's at hand, or you're not afraid to fail in life, I promise to guarantee that every single one of you in this room will walk around with the most confidence that you will ever have and ever gain in your entire lifetime. Because hope and inspiration, ladies and gentlemen, it's there when we go to sleep. It's there when we wake up. It's there in our cities, our towns, our states, our jobs, our schools. And more importantly, it's there in this country. And you know, that's the one thing that people tend to forget about us. There's a lot of hope and inspiration everywhere we go in our country. But we're so divided right now. I'm an anti-bullying advocate. I'm tired of seeing everybody being so divided right now. And no, I'm not coming up here saying I'm going to run for president in 2020. I ain't going to do that. But you know what? I am going to continue to advocate not only for the entire community, not only for the entire ASD community, but I'm going to continue to advocate for individuals who are bullied every day. Because 65 to 90% of kids with autism in our country are the number one targets for bullies. And I'm proud to stand up for those individuals every day. And you know what? I encourage every day for people to be treated how they want to be treated. I treat people every day how I want to be treated, with kindness and respect. I don't judge or treat people based on hair color, eye color, skin color, nationality, or opinions. I don't. I care about all that because I don't see black and white between people. I treat people with kindness and respect because that's how I want to be treated. And if a certain individual in the White House don't appreciate that, if he's going to stop me from doing that, well, good luck, sir. Because there's only one person in my entire life, folks, stop me from doing all that, and that's me. And I don't plan on stopping treating people with kindness and respect anytime soon. So don't ever forget, ladies and gentlemen, there is hope and inspiration in this country because hope and inspiration is there every single step that we take in our lives. And you know what? That's why I encourage people every day to live their dreams. Because let's be honest, folks, at the end of the day, we really don't dream our lives. At the end of the day, we live them. Cheryl, thank you again.
You're welcome.
You guys have been awesome. Lucinda, you have 3 more days with me.
I know.
So I want to thank you guys so much for having me. And I did rock Texas A&M College today. And I want to thank each and every single one of you here for being here. God bless all you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.